Some battles never make it into the history books, but those who survived remember. We were the Nisei tankers, second-generation Japanese Americans fighting in Europe, desperate to prove loyalty to a country that once doubted us. But in the Pacific, another front boiled with fury. What the world forgot was one skirmish, off the coast of the Philippines in late 1944, where our Sherman tanks rolled onto a beachhead under screaming skies. Dive bombers. Not ours. Theirs. And we, Japanese Americans, faced not only the enemy's steel but the bitter irony of fighting our ancestral homeland. October 20th, 1944. Leyte Gulf, Philippines. Our unit, the 442nd Regimental Combat Team, wasn't supposed to be there. We were veterans of Italy and France, used to mountain passes, vineyards, and Nazi snipers. But High Command had a problem. Japanese defenses across the Pacific were deeply dug in, and infantry alone couldn't crack them. They needed tanks, Shermans. They didn't expect the 100th Battalion of the 442nd to adapt to jungle warfare. But we were Nisei, we adapted to everything. We rolled off the LSTs under a searing sun, our Shermans coated in salt, sand, and stubbornness. The beach was hot, physically and strategically. MacArthur had just returned. The Japanese had no intention of letting him keep it. We called our tank Gambatte, Japanese for keep going. Irony wasn't lost on us. We had our names sewn into our uniforms, Takashi, Kenji, Minoru, but none of us spoke it aloud. Not here. Not while firing shells into the same bloodline. The enemy had dug into the jungle behind the beaches. But worse, intelligence reported Japanese Aichi D-3A Val dive bombers patrolling the region. Naval assets were thin, our LSTs were already pulling out. Air cover was late. We were the only armored unit within 5 miles. We didn't know it then, but we were about to become bait and blood. By noon, the first mortar shells rained down from the tree line. We fired back blindly. The jungle swallowed sound, light, and hope. Gambatte's turret rotated non-stop, Minoru on the cannon, Kenji spotting through the periscope, and me, Takashi, on comms. Our Shermans pushed inland. Every 100 meters, another ambush. Japanese infantry emerged like ghosts, bayonets, flamethrowers, suicide charges. We lost 2 tanks before dusk. Then came the sound. Not mortar. Not gunfire. Whistling. Descending. We looked up, 3 black specks overhead, growing rapidly. Dive bombers. Val bombers. Take cover. I screamed. Too late. The first bomb struck 20 yards from our tank, blew the tracks off another Sherman like it was made of tin. The second plane came in low, strafing with machine gun fire. We ducked inside Gambatte, hearts pounding. Minoru yelled, "They're coming again!" A Val peeled up into the sky, banked, and turned sharply. The dive started, nearly vertical. We knew the sound. A shriek like a banshee's cry. I saw the pilot's face for a split second. Young. Determined. Maybe even Japanese-American too. That thought alone tore a hole in me deeper than any bomb could. Boom. The jungle behind us exploded into fire and metal. Trees toppled. Our ears rang. Gambatte rocked but held. We reversed, rotating the turret. "Hit that bastard!" I barked. Minoru fired. Missed. The Val curved away like a bird of prey. Another was lining up. Suddenly, from the ridge above, came a strange sight, smoke shells. American smoke. Our reinforcements were firing blind shells to obscure the sky. A gamble. Dive bombers hated uncertainty. But the Vals weren't stopping. One dived directly at us, unleashing its bomb. It landed 5 meters from Gambatte, rupturing the ground like a small earthquake. The concussion knocked us unconscious for seconds. We woke to screaming static. Kenji's face was bloodied but alive. They were circling for a final strike. "Takashi! They're coming again!" Kenji shouted. Minoru slammed his fist on the cannon controls. "Give me elevation. I've got 1 shot." I turned Gambatte's chassis, exposing our side to the bomber, risky but necessary. The Val roared in, just a few 100 feet overhead. Minoru breathed in, hand steady. He didn't blink. Now. Boom. The 75mm shell left the barrel like thunder on wings. It hit dead center, ripped through the bomber's fuselage. Flames erupted mid-air. The Val disintegrated above us, raining burning debris. One down. But another was right behind. No time to reload. Kenji did the unthinkable. He opened the hatch and pulled out the .50 caliber roof gun, exposing himself. No cover. Kenji! I screamed. But he didn't hear. He aimed skyward as the second Val screamed toward us. He pulled the trigger, sending a stream of lead into the oncoming plane. The Val wobbled, dipped, but didn't crash. It released its bomb. Kenji kept firing. The bomb hit, but not Gambatte. It struck a crater beside us. Shrapnel ripped into our tank, puncturing the side, but didn't ignite the fuel. Kenji was thrown back into the hatch, unmoving. Kenji! I climbed out, dragging him in. He was breathing, but barely. Blood soaked his uniform. The third Val circled, hesitating. Its comrades were gone. We were still alive. Minoru, tears streaking his soot-covered cheeks, swore under his breath. Let's finish it. We fired our last shell. It didn't even need to hit. The Val veered off, trailing smoke. Retreating. The sky went silent. By dawn, air support arrived. American Wildcats tore the skies, finishing what we began. The jungle smoked with the remains of enemy gun nests and the twisted wreckage of dive bombers. We were evacuated to a field hospital. Kenji survived, though he lost partial use of his right arm. Minoru and I stayed with Gambatte until she was deemed beyond repair. But she never left my memory. We were awarded Bronze Stars. Later, they called our defense impossible. They said we held the line with courage. What they didn't say, what history forgot, was that Japanese American soldiers faced more than bullets and bombs. We fought ghosts, guilt, irony. The dive bombers weren't just planes, they were reminders. Of a homeland that birthed us but never knew us. Of a country that doubted our loyalty until we bled for it. Years later, at a veterans ceremony, a younger officer asked me, "Was it strange fighting Japanese forces?" I looked at him and said, "Not strange. Necessary. Because being American isn't about blood. It's about choice. And I chose." He nodded, but I knew he didn't understand. That's fine. We did. And in that jungle, with dive bombers falling and a Sherman tank groaning beneath us, we proved it, not to them, but to ourselves.